Hey everybody, welcome to FabFit Friday. How is everybody? Hello Sylvia, hello Andrea, hi Coastal Constance. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late here. I went down a rabbit hole. Good morning, Andrea. I had such a great time with Andrea this past weekend. We did knitwear. It was really, really fun. Hey, Judy. Hey, Tana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so when I was packing for my trip, I pulled stuff out. I misplaced my set of tea muslins and I never found them. So you can imagine I tore a bunch of things apart that I did not have time to put back together yet. So I can't give you the tour of my room today because it's not done. Hey, Terry. Hey, Carla. Hey, Susan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're here live. Lynn, hi, how are you? All right, so no tour this week. It's been a busy week because I didn't get home until Tuesday at 6 p.m. And then Wednesday, I had 17 orders to ship, including waistbands, and then I ran out of Velcro, so I ordered Velcro, and then my Velcro order came with 2 plushes and no hook. So the new Velcro is coming today. I promise I will get out, I promise I will get that out as soon as the Velcro comes. I have 3 more waistband kits to get out into the mail today. And let me just, I'm going to get my, I don't know if my thing is causing a problem here. Let me just get my mic and move it a little closer. Okay. All right, I hope that's better. So basically, you know, it was busy, and then I went to see my parents on Thursday, so I had very little time to get anything new done this week. However, I am teaching next weekend is my 3-day pants fitting class. I am so excited. I have 8 people signed up, and it's going to be an amazing time. And I thought to myself, I would really like to have an extra pair of pants to wear, so I can wear a different pair of pants every day. And I've been drooling over my corduroy for a long time, so I decided I would cut it out and start sewing today during FabFit Friday. Oh, Woody is gone. Thank you. Hey, Lorna from New Zealand. Been looking forward to today's live stream. Oh, thank you so much. You had a really busy week too. I know sometimes life just makes new plans for you when you're not even noticing. Hey, Jason, welcome. Oh, hey, Susan's first time live. Welcome, welcome. And Carla, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I want to show you, I've cut out my leg pieces, and this particular pattern was an experiment. I tried to take my stretch jeans made easy pattern, which fits me perfectly, and I tried to adjust it for non-stretch. And then here are the things I've learned. If you're taking a stretchy garment and you want to make it non-stretch, you have to make it bigger. What I didn't consider when I was doing that is parts of my non-stretch jeans, specifically from like my full hip into my like crotch level down, I was really not stretching out the denim. So I made the whole leg bigger, and it gave me a good starting point. I shared that muslin with you a few weeks ago, but I started fussing with it, and then I went down a rabbit hole of adjusting this thing back and forth and sideways. And you know how you are fitting something and then you start to overfit, and then I started to really make a mess of it. So I had to back up. But anyway, so I ended up with a fit I like, and I want to show you one thing before I start working with it here. Oh, it's 7 p.m. in Germany. Good evening, good evening. All right, so let me switch my view. Well, that's a little bit bright. Let me make it a little less bright. Oops, hold on. All right, so you can see there's my disaster wah-walk order. Okay, let me just move that stuff out of the way a little bit more. All right, So what I want to show you here, starting out of the gate, is this is why it's really important to weight down your pattern if you're cutting something out. I just want to show you the front leg here. So here's the front leg I cut out. And notice it looks like I cut it out wrong. See how there's fabric hanging out on the inseam, but there's no fabric, you know, the pattern is hanging off on this side. That's because when you straighten it out, like when it's weighted down and you straighten it out, it matches. So if you're working on cutting out something really long, make sure you really weight it down and make sure you're cutting it out right. Because if I had cut it out the way it just wanted to flop like this, I might have gotten a little bit of a twisty leg because it's pushing off to the side seam. So basically that's my little tip for, you know, when you're cutting out things that are long. Sylvia has Dracula in her. I love that. All right. So basically, you can see this pattern is a little bit rumpled up. So you need to be careful when you're cutting things out. And then my next tip before we get started is, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to make these really simple down and dirty pants that are no front pockets. I'm going to put patch pockets in the back. I'm going to do a front fly today. And I iron this fabric. It's very important to iron if you've got big creases in your fabric, because even though you're weighting down the pattern on top of it, it could distort the shape of your cutout fabric pieces if you don't iron them. So I iron them, but then what I want to point out to you is, I'm going to open them up here. See, I've got corduroy in here, so I didn't want to traumatize the nap. So notice I can pet down, so you can see it's going to be nice and soft and going down. I pressed this fabric on the wrong side of the fabric, so that way I wasn't rubbing back and forth on the nap. So that's how I iron this fabric. You can see here I have my little, this is my zipper seam allowances here. So the only thing I haven't cut out yet so far are my fly pieces. So I'm going to cut those out. Oh, Sylvia likes this color. This is like, it's almost like a mustardy, chartreusey, yellowy green color, and I really like it. Not against my face, but this is a big color. Lighter colors look bigger and it balances out my G-cup top. So that's why I like to put a pop of color, you know, on the bottom half of me. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to simply show you a down and dirty, easy way to make fly pieces if you did a whole bunch of adjusting and now your zipper seam allowance is screwed up. On the pattern, you want to make sure you lengthen it. So you can see here, let me just zoom in here. Okay, so after I did a whole bunch of stuff, I had to lengthen it almost an inch, like that's about 3/4 of an inch right here. So it isn't going to stop in the middle of my belly. So the first thing I did was I lengthened my zipper seam allowance. And so now my fly pieces wouldn't match. But again, this is practically a self-drafted pattern. Well, it's not self-drafted, but I mean, I sliced and diced and did all sorts of stuff to it. So I don't really have fly pieces that match. Let's see. PB Flanagan finally got here for the first time live. I'm so happy you are here live, PB. Welcome. Lynn says, nice neutral color without being boring. I agree. Oh, Sylvia and Bettina are both from Germany. Welcome, ladies. And Tina says, oh, I'm sorry. Tana says, I brought pants that color and it looks totally different in the house and in the daylight. Weird. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen to these. I will tell you that I am working under natural light Kelvin because my husband got me special light bulbs. So technically this should be the actual color. Here, let me brighten up a little bit here so you can see that was a little bit dark before, I think. Hey, Mary. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cajun County, love that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is, I'm just going to show you, I've got this crinkly paper here. So I'm going to get a couple more of my multi-mats. I love these things. I'm going to put my paper on it, and then I'm not going to press steam, and I'm just going to iron my paper nice and flat. Ooh, I did get a little water on it. Okay. So now, what I want to do is I just want to show you how to draft these pieces, and they're very, very simple to draft. So I need a ruler, and I'm going to get one of my quilting rulers because I want to use the bottom edge as well. So we're going to use this quilting ruler, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw myself a sort of an L shape. Ooh, is that even sharp? I don't think so. Maybe it's a tad light. Okay, so I am gonna, oh, that's upside down. That's why it looks funny. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna draw myself a rectangle like this. And I'm trying to use the grid that's printed on the paper as well. So I'm just gonna go across like this. And then I'm gonna slide it over. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger because what I wanna do is I wanna create both pieces on this single rectangle. So you can see I'm using the bottom of the ruler to keep my angle square here. I like to do rectangular fly pieces when I'm not doing a cut on fly. All right, so I've got these pieces. I've got this guide right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my, how long I want my zipper seam allowance to be. And so if I just give this a quick measure, and for that I think I want to use my clear grid ruler. So this measures this measures 7 inches. Okay, and I want it to hang down a little bit past the zipper seam allowance. Well, I want the right fly piece to hang down a little extra. So I'm going to make them both longer. I'm going to make them both, let's make them both 7 1/4. No, or 7, let's do 7 1/2. I'm going to make both of these 7 1/2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up to 7 1/2, and I'm going to make the rest of my rectangle here. And again, you can see I'm using the grid and the lines on my ruler. So now I have this very generous rectangle shape here, and I'm being careful not to wave my Sharpie marker on my fabric. I just had nightmares of drawing on my fabric before I even make a garment. All right, so now this is a 7 1/2 inch high rectangle. Ooh, Sylvia likes Cajun nuts. I wonder if they come from Cajun County. Oh, South Louisiana, heart of Cajun people. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I hope Bettina and Sylvia can become sewing buddies in Germany. What kind of thickness of paper pieces, please? Is thicker paper, tracing paper, the pattern company sell? All right, so this is pretty substantial gridded paper. I got it from Wawak, and actually it's $99 for like a 100-yard roll of 48-inch wide paper. The reason why I like it is, notice it doesn't transfer onto my cutting mat. So if I'm cutting or if I'm drawing, it doesn't transfer over here. Now normally I would put that darker cutting mat from Sew Tights on my board if I was showing you pattern work. However, I just finished cutting out and I couldn't have that smaller board on my big board to cut out my legs. So that's why I don't have that on right now. Okay, so now we need to make a right and left fly piece. So the right fly piece is going to get folded in half, and it makes the fly shield between your zipper and your undies, right? So that one's going to be twice as wide, and then the left fly piece is going to be half as wide. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches here. That's going to work out perfect for me because I'm just going to draw a line that's creates a 5-inch and a 3-inch piece like this. And that's going to give me really, oh, actually, all right, so that's going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. So this is 5 inches wide here. This is 3. So really I have to lose, I'm going to lose a 1/2 inch on this left piece. So I'm just going to use my ruler, and we're just going to trim off a 1/2 inch on this side. So I'm going to end up having a 2.5 inch wide and a 2.5 inch wide folded in half. So actually I'm going to make this even a little bit. I'm also going to take another 1/8 off, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I'm taking 5/8 inch off, so I'm not going to use this. So let's just cut these out quick, and then I'll explain what I'm doing here. So let's cut these out. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut it out on my final answer line over here, and then I'm gonna cut this one off. Okay, so here is what I have right now. I'm going to cut this. Now, somebody asked me why I like to use Sharpie marker. Lorna said, oh, I already answered that. Uh-oh, Sylvia's got a broken heart. Hey, Julia, welcome. Here is why I use a Sharpie marker when I'm working on patterns. See how you can see the color on both sides? That means I cut that out pretty accurate, right? Because you can see the color. So I cut right down the middle of the Sharpie marker. That's why I like to use Sharpie marker for things like this. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trim off a 1/4 inch on the left piece. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to see this left piece when my zipper is zipped up. So the way this is going to work is after I cut this out, this is going to get folded in half like this. Whoops, not like that. Like this. And then when it's all put together, you can see what's going to happen is the right fly piece is going to be like 1/8 of an inch wider and about 1/4 of an inch longer. So when it's shut inside, all you'll see is the right piece. Hey, Connie, welcome. So that's how we're going to do that. And I'm just going to use, I debated about using the corduroy, and you know what? I think I'm just going to use the corduroy. So basically now here's one of my scraps of corduroy. And again, I want to make sure I'm cutting it out with the nap because obviously we want it to pet right. So this is the way it goes, like this, down. And I guess it doesn't matter at this point though, because I'm cutting out rectangles. But I am going to put my little thingy-mabopper right on here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out these 2 rectangles. And I think if I put this like this, again, I think I'm going to combine these together. So I can literally use my ruler and I can cut straight across here like this. And then I'm just going to move that over there. I'm going to cut this off. I'm smushing down the fold that I made. So we'll cut this. And then, again, I'm just going to go straight across like this. And then I can cut this one out. Okay, and then I can use this edge. It's going to be a little bit short, remember, so we're going to, whatever, we're going to cut off that extra. But basically now I'm just going to cut this second, oh, I don't even need that. All right, I'm going to move this over here. Over there. All right, so I'm just going to cut this one out. And now I've got both of my fly pieces. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut a 1/4 inch off. I know it's a 1/4 inch shorter. All right, so now I've got my 2 pieces like this. So the next step is I want to show you how to clean finish the pieces and clean finish the center front edges, because you want to clean finish these before you start constructing so you don't have to go back and forth between your serger, and it's just easier. Hey Ginny, welcome. Oh, Ginny's coming to my 3-day workshop. I'm so excited too, Ginny. Thank you for stopping in today as well. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put my serger up here because I want to show you some things. And I'm just going to lower my serger. Boop, 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 like that. I'm also going to plug in my serger. And I've got a plug right here. And I just want to show you how to clean finish this, because I have a little trick for clean finishing the seam allowance without cutting it off. And of course now, what did I do with my, oh, I have to go get my foot control. Hold on, ladies. It's on the other side of my table. I'm finding it. Hold on, what do I do with it? Oh my God, if I can't find my foot control to my serger, I'm gonna snap. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me just show you a couple cool things on the serger. All right. Oops. Okay. Let me see if I can get a little bit better of an angle here. Oops, that's not good. Hold on. And then let's get it so it's nice and sharp. There we go. Sylvia got a cover stitch machine. I'm so excited for you. It's cool to have a cover stitch machine. All right, so let me show you something here. We've got 2 pieces, and actually, let me just move that out of the way for a second. Let me lay these out here for 1 second. And here's my other one. Now we've got two fronts, right? You can see them here. If I make it a little bigger, you can see them. All right, so this is on the left, but if I pick it up and put it against my body, it would be on my right side. So if you're looking at your pattern pieces, right side face up on the table in front of you, what's on the left is going to be on the right side of your body when you put it on. Now, we want to cut off the seam allowance on the left leg, because think left is little. That's where the little fly piece goes, and we do not sew the zipper to the left side. So I'm literally going to use my ruler here, and I'm going to measure that 3/8 of an inch all the way up, and I'm going to cut that off so I don't have to guess when I get to the serger. Okay, so this is going to be my left side, and this is going to be my right side. Now, obviously, finishing this left side is no big deal because there's no seam allowance jutting out like there is on this side. Oh, Sylvia hemmed her t-shirt, her husband's t-shirt, with blue and red stitching, with white and red and blue stitching. Oh, that's so proud. That he's so proud. I love that. Oh my God. My husband jokes to all my friends that he asks them, especially if they know how to sew, he'll say, "Do you know how to hem pants?" Like giving me a hard time because maybe I didn't hem his pants as fast as he would have liked. All right. So I'm going to just finish this one first, and I am not going to get a fancy color thread to match this. I'm simply going to use gray because gray is the color that blends into everything. I'm going to get it right under there, and I'm using a 4-thread here. Normally I would do a 3-thread narrow or a 3-thread wide, but I don't want to take the time to change my stitch. So I'm just going to do the 4-thread here. And I'm just going to stitch along. Now it's really important if you're going to clean finish your edges, do not cut anything off because then you won't have an accurate seam allowance. So I'm going to be real careful here, and as I stitch along, I'm going to try to not catch the edge of the fabric at all. So I'm just going to go really slow. And my loops might actually come off a little bit because I'm really trying to stay away from the edge until I get it going here. Now we're coming to the curve. Am I going to try to follow that curve? No, I am not. I am going to straighten my curve out like this. So see what I'm doing? I'm making it a straight line. So as I start serging, I'm straightening out the curve instead of trying to follow the curve. So what I end up with is something that looks like this. All right, so now that's nicely clean finished. The next thing I'm going to do is the one that's a little bit more complicated here. So this one, I want to clean finish my straightaway edge here for the zipper seam allowance. I'm going to do that. Notice I pushed my crotch point out of the way. Oh, Sylvia straightens with me. I love that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I've got this part right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my presser foot up. I'm going to open my doors, and I'm going to get out my little screwdriver. And what I want to do is I want to get this under here so that the needles are right parallel along the front crotch, right next to where the zipper seam allowances stops. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling my threads over to the right a little bit just to relax the tension on them. Then I'm going to slide the fabric in so it's sliding the fabric in until it's right up against the knife. Then I can, just going to put my needle, let me put my presser foot down. Oops. I'm going to put my needles down. I'm going to keep this out of the way here. Then I can shut everything, and I'm going to sew my front crotch curve on this side. And as I start serging, I want to make sure that that fabric is against the knife, but then I don't want to cut this. So again, I'm going to straighten it out like this. A lot of work went into shaping this front crotch curve, so I really don't want to change the shape of it. All right, so you can see what we have is, let me just move this out of the way for a second so I can show you. Let me just see if we can zoom in on that a little bit so you can see. So basically what I did was I stopped at the bottom of this zipper seam allowance, and then I started at the very top of the straight part of the fly. Can you see that? Let me see if I can make it a little bit lighter. See? So that's how I clean finish my front crotch with a zipper seam allowance. And then I'm also going to serge my fly pieces. If I can find them now, hold on. Oh, they fell on the floor. Uh-oh. All right, one fell on the floor. Where did my little one go? Oh, here it is. Okay. So now I'm gonna just do my now I'm going to do my fly pieces. Now I'm going to work with my fly folded in half like this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to serge them together like this. So I'm just going to go in there, serge my fly pieces together. Like this. And when I get to the bottom, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up, nudge it around, and then I'm going to gently pull it back slightly, then I'm going to put it back in so I don't have a tail to cut off in this outer corner. Oh, Lynn wants to know why I opened the serger door. I opened the serger door, Lynn, because when I started, I didn't want the needle tension to press on the edge of the fabric. So I wanted to get in there and pull the threads like to the right a little bit with the presser foot open to relax them a little bit. That's why I opened the doors. All right, so now, look at how cool that is, my corner. So there's no tail to cut there because I just pivoted and now I've got a clean finished fly. Let's do that again. So again, I'm going to start over here. When I get to the very bottom, when I get to the very bottom of the fly piece, again, I'm lifting my needles all the way up, lifting the presser foot, sliding this back, and I'm turning my hand wheel a little bit to give myself a little extra tail, swinging it back in and making sure the needles are right at the edge of the fabric again, and then I'm finishing off here. And actually, I don't know, I didn't pay attention to which side was face up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both corners here. I'm going to do all three sides here. Oops, let me just get this so it's, and then I can slide that back in. Get that right against the blade. Oh, and you know what? Let's just go around in a circle because I don't even know which is going to be the top or the bottom. I didn't mark that. So let me just, we're just going to go around in a circle here. Generally, I don't finish the waistline edge, but in this case, this one is going to have a finished waistline. If you're trying this technique and you're having a hard time having enough clearance to pull it out and get it back in there, just wiggle your, see what I'm doing? I'm just joggling my hand wheel just a little bit. That kind of frees things up, and then I can do that. Now, obviously, I want to cut this tail off. All right, so yay, I've got that all set. Now we are done with the serger, so I'm going to put that away. Okay, so let's take a look at these really quickly here. We've got both our fly pieces ready to go. All right, and I'm going to lift, oh, then I'm going to my sewing machine. And of course, when I was sewing today, I had pink thread in there, so I'm going to have to change my needle thread to a color that's not going to show. And I think I'm just going to use this like taupey color, this tanny taupey color, because I don't have any chartreusey green color. So I'm just going to use this color, and of course I'm going to have to flaming wind a bobbin. I'm so sorry. All right. Oh, Lynn says, why is that doing that? Oh, look at this. This is kind of funny. Well, it's not funny, but my machine is saying, no, you have the wrong presser foot in there. So that's kind of cool. That was my serger presser foot. So let me see if I plug in the right one, if that works. All right, there we go. Now I've got the right presser foot in, and I'm just going to quickly wind a bobbin, because right now I have pink in there, which is really not going to work for me. And I do have, I'm just going to take the rest of this pink off. I made my granddaughter pink leg warmers to wear to tap dance because it was cold, and I get her dressed for tap before her mom's friend picks her up. So I had this old cashmere sweater that had a lot of like you know, moth holes in it. So I cut the sleeves off and they fit her legs perfectly. So I made her little pink cashmere leg warmers. That's why I had the pink on there, in case anyone's wondering. All right, so let me just quickly wind a bobbin. And I'm also going to take off this presser foot I have on. Right now I have my straight stitch foot on. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to put my standard foot on so I can use my zipper foot, because we're going to do the zipper now. And I don't know about you, but when I was first learning to do zippers, like flies, I couldn't have watched it enough times. So I hope somebody in the crowd here is happy that we're going to do a front fly zipper. So first, let me just wind this bobbin. And while that's winding, I can also multitask and take my foot off here. So I'm going to take this plate off. I'm going to take this foot off. And I just cleaned the inside of my machine, so my machine is nice and clean. I do want to remind people, it really is nice for your machine to take everything out and brush out all the lint if you have lint. So I did do that the last time I worked on this machine, so I don't need to do that right now. And I'm super excited. I love the presser foot that comes with the 6700P. You can see what it looks like right there. And then I also need the right needle plate. So I'm going to pop my needle plate back on like this. Put this one away. Oops. I'm also going to put this here so I don't lose it. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take my bobbin off. That's going to go in here. And oh, hey, Phyllis. Phyllis is coming to my 3-day workshop too. So very excited. And she joined me to make knit tops on Sunday. It was so much fun. We really had a nice time. All right, so let me just put this back on. I'm putting the regular shank on now. The only downside to using this foot is I don't have the built-in walking foot now, but that's all right. All right, let me just thread the machine. Now remember, when you thread your machine, the needle should be, the presser foot should be up. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to thread this, and then we're going to get our zipper ready to go. Okay, let's see here. All right, let me get this ready to go. All right, so now my machine is ready to go. I am going to slide that back so I can show you the next step here. We've got our two pieces. I'm going to start working with the right front piece, and we're going to use the zipper. Now the zipper I'm going to use, I don't know if you've seen this before or if I've talked about it with you before, but I am in love with Excella zippers. You can get these at Wawak, and they're just premium pants zippers. They zip up and down so much nicer and quieter than other pant zippers. And this zipper is a little bit too long for this. And actually, I probably could have lowered this a little bit more to make it long enough. So I think what I'm going to do is, because it is, you can see here, it hangs down about, it's about a ½ inch too long. So I'm not gonna, well, I guess I could with this. So what I want to show you here is there are two kinds of zippers for pants. Oh, Andrea's saying goodbye. All right, bye, Andrea. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you enjoyed class on the weekend. Thank you, thank you. Oh, D. Hammert says, oh, zippers, I had a really strict teacher at home ec. I had to sew it in 3 times. Oh, I know. Zippers can be a pain, but here's what I want to show you. If you're sewing pants and your zipper has a locking tab, and what I mean by locking tab is when this tab is down, notice I'm going to try to pull it down with the tab down, and I'm using my thumb and I'm trying to push it down with all my might. It will not budge because it has a locking tab. So that means I can shorten this zipper from the top. It doesn't matter if I lose my top stops because it stops anywhere when it's down. So if you don't zip your zipper all the way up, like let's say you're in a hurry and you only zip it up this much, it's still not going to unzip on you when you're wearing them. If you don't have a locking tab, the pull will slide anywhere along those teeth. Because this has a locking tab, I'm going to shorten it from the top. And this is a 2.5 pant zipper, and notice how nice and small or narrow these teeth are. And in addition to that, I just want to show you here, this zipper has a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I mean, I'm sorry, the tape is 3/8 of an inch wide. You need to know that because my zipper seam allowance is also 3/8 inch wide. So to get this to work, we're going to have to offset the zipper a little bit. So I am going to put this zipper right sides together with my front leg piece. And, oh my goodness, I have to go get my pins. I'm so sorry. Hold on one second. Ouch. Sorry about that. I let my granddaughter do some pinning and they were over on her side. Okay, so I'm just going to put one pin. Now just let's review. I'm going to zip this all the way up and I'm putting the pool face down. So the pool is face down. I'm lining up the bottom stop with the bottom of the zipper seam allowance here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so my, see how I can see 1/8 of an inch of the fabric here? I'm going to do that so I can sew 3/8 of an inch in and also not hit the teeth. Because if I line this up like this, so they line up exactly, then my stitching is going to be right up against those teeth. I don't want to take that chance. So I'm going to slide it over ever so slightly like that. I'm making sure that my bottom stop is right at the bottom of my zipper seam allowance. And I'm just going to put a couple pins in here to hold it. So I'm going to put them in so they're sideways like this. And I'm actually I'm putting them in so Oops, hold on. I'm putting them in, so I'm actually hopping the teeth. So see, the teeth, it's underneath the teeth. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do it like this in a second here. I'm just going to do two, one at the top and one at the bottom, like this. Okay, so see, I've got two zippers. The next thing, two zippers, two pins. Then I'm going to bring my sewing machine back over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this so the zipper is face down. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I can see where the zipper seam allowance starts on this side, right? Because it's underneath the zipper from the wrong side. I'm going to move my needle over to get it into position like that. And then I'm going to stitch my zipper on. Just going to back tack at the bottom. And see, this is going to allow me to sew at 3/8 of an inch without hitting the teeth because I offset the fabric is sticking out 1/8 of an inch. The other thing about having a zipper that's a little bit too long, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with on the top side. Let me just cut off this tail because it's annoying me. Okay, so I can reach in here now. I can lift my presser foot up with the needle down, turn it a little bit to the side like this so I can get in there and unzip the zipper to do the rest, you know, at the very top. So I'm literally just gonna unzip. Oops, I think hold on, let me turn it this way. Oops, there we go. There we go. Then I'm just going to put this back into position and I'm going to go straight up, and I can see right here that I'm actually still hanging off that 1/8 of an inch. So everything is going to be nice and straight. So let's finish that up. So that's how it looks. So you can see that the fabric is showing, and I've got space between the zipper teeth and my folded corduroy. You don't want to get that really close, especially when you're working on something with a nap, because if you catch the fabric in the zipper teeth, then that's not going to be a happy situation. So I did that. The next step is I'm going to lay this back down here, and I guess I'll zip it back up again. I'm going to lay it flat. All right, so that's how that looks. The next step is I'm going to take my right fly piece and I'm going to put it right sides together with my zipper. And actually, both sides are right because I sewed it. But basically, we want to line up the top of the zipper, the fly piece, with the top of the waistband so that matches, right? And then we're going to just sew this back on. And actually, to pin this in place, I could put a few pins way over here, right? And I'll never have to touch those because they're out of the way. So I'm just going to put 2 pins here. Now, here's the thing though. We're not going to sew the bottom edge. We're going to leave like the first 1.5 inches at the base of the zipper open because I'm going to want to fold this out of the way later when I do my fly top stitching. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a pin where I'm going to start stitching like this. So I've got it pinned on where I don't have to worry about the pins, and I've got my start point because I'm going to start at the base of the zipper again. So let's go back to the machine. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on. And here's the cool thing. I can stitch right, I'm not going to start down here. I'm going to start at my pin, right? But the cool thing is now I have that row of stitching that we use to put the zipper on to guide me to stitch right on top of that again to sew the fly piece on. So again, I'm just going to back tack here, and then I'm going to stitch all the way up to the top, sort of mirroring my first row of stitching. And I think actually this is such a narrow pull. I'm just going to go all the way up to the top with it there. I think we'll be okay. It's the chunkier pulls that get in the way. All right, so now let's look at this. I'm going to unpin. And you can see what we have here is a very nice fly piece. My fly, I'm sorry, zipper. My fly shield is right there. This is all nice and together. So that completes the front. That completes the right side. Now I'm going to do the left side, and I think just to keep this neat and tidy, I'm just going to fold it in half here and just put it over here. So let's look at the left piece now. And I've got my left fly piece here somewhere. Yep, I put it on the ground. All right, so the reason why I finished all the edges here is because I didn't know which side was going to be up, and I want to make sure when I pet it, oh, I could have figured that out. So I want to pet it so it's petting down. So it's going to go like this. All right, and again, we want to line up our top edges like this. All right, so it's going to look like this. If you're working with something that's really thin and doesn't have any stability, you can also put a piece of fusible interfacing on your left fly piece. I'm not going to do it for this one, but you could totally do that to make it a little more stable. And this is an easy side. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a couple pins in my, to hold the fly together with the leg. And then we're just going to stitch. And I'm going to start at the crotch, and I'm going to stitch all the way up, because this stitching will give me a guide to, sew my crotch together. And I'm going to switch to a regular presser foot here so I can have my needle in the center needle position and also hold it down and also keep track of my seam allowance a little bit easier here. Get on. Why isn't that up? Come on, you can do it. Oops, why isn't that attaching? Oh, I don't think this is the right presser foot for my machine. No, it is not. Oh, this presser foot goes to my mother's machine. It's too narrow. I got to remember to bring that back. I think this one will fit just fine. Here we go. I thought to myself, why is that not going on? So now I want to sew, and I'm sewing 3/8 of an inch because that's the seam allowance for this crotch. Oops, and I need to be in the center needle position. Hold on. So my center needle is 3.5. Is it moving? 3.5. Okay, so now I've got that in the center. And my stitch length, if anyone's wondering, is 3.0. So now I'm going to just stitch this. And I'm just going to go really slow because I want to make that nice and accurate. Like this. And then as I come onto my fly piece, I'm just going to keep going. Like this. Now the one thing that's nice about working with corduroy is it tends to stick together. So you really don't have to worry about things shifting around. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so now you can see I've sewn that, and I sewed starting down here, so I have a guide for my crotch, and I sewed straight up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this, and I'm going to understitch, which means I'm going to stitch really close to the edge through all the thicknesses, about 1/8 of an inch away. And notice I'm pulling it away as I go to create some tension. That's going to help the left fly piece stay put you know, when I fold it back here. All right, so look at our lovely left fly piece right here. So I think we want to give this a little bit of a press now. So I'm going to get my pressing mats. I really like these Aliso multi-mats. They're very, very cool. And what I'm going to do here is first I'm just going to press this nice and flat. Notice I'm pressing from the wrong side. Then I'm going to turn this so that it's right on the seam like this. And I just want to press this back. I'm just going to give it a nice press. I'm not going to rub. I'm just going to give it some steam, and then I'm going to hand press it so nothing bad happens. Like this. All right, so now that completes the left side. So let me show you how to actually put these pieces together. And this is a really easy way to do it. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to lay it flat like this. Oh, you know what? Why don't we, while we're pressing, why don't we give this a press too? So again, I'm going to put it upside down. All right, like this. And we'll just give this a nice little press too. And I want to make sure from the right side that it's pulled all the way over like that. I think that's good. All right, so I'm just gonna hold that with my hands for a second. All right, so now that's nice and flat. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left fly piece, or my left leg, and I'm going to put it right on top of my right leg. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the top edge, and I'm going to line up my crotches. So the crotches need to match, and the waist needs to match like this. So see what I'm lining up here? This needs to match like this. So see how my crotches are matching perfectly. I've got my waistline matching up here as well. So what I'm going to do now is, if I look under here, there's my zipper, right? This is exactly where the zipper needs to get sewn to. So basically, the other thing you want to look for is, notice that the edge of the outer edge of the left fly is sort of running parallel to the folded edge of the right fly piece. You want to look for that as well, because sometimes the bottom edge of this, because it's not attached at the very bottom, it could swing out a little bit. So just make sure that it's parallel like this. Then what you're going to do is, with everything lining up, I'm literally going to take a pin. I'm going to pick up my zipper right here, and I'm going to flip it open like this, and I'm going to put a pin right here. Okay, and then I'm going to double check and make sure this bottom doesn't scoot out at all. Make sure it's nice and straight. I'm just scooching this a little bit. And I'm going to put a second pin right in here. Oh, Julia is asking if you put right sides together. Yes, you put right sides together. So now I'm going to reach in here and pin this one like this. And I'm only pinning the zipper to the left fly piece. Okay, so now I'm going to lay it back again, and I'm going to double check my work here to make sure everything looks nice and straight. I think that's going to be good. Now, the next thing we can check is if we open it up this way, you could totally do Wonder Tape if you want to. You absolutely can. If you put a piece of Wonder Tape there, it will hold it for you. But I just want to show you, see what happens when I double check it. What you're looking for here is the underlap, which I have, right? And you can see that the pieces of my, or the edges of my crotch are going to match as well. So I've got this all nice and neat. You could totally put Wonder Tape there and then lay it and press it. You could totally do that. But I've gotten into the habit of just reaching in and grabbing it because that seems to work. So you can see that's nice and flat, right? So now that I know that's in the right position, I can open it up like this, and we're just going to sew the zipper to the left fly piece next. So I'm going to scooch in here. Oh, I had Wonder Tape in my organizer. I could have shown you that. Okay. Also, I think because I'm working with corduroy, it's not a slip. This is not a slippery fabric. This is actually a really easy fabric to work with. So that's another reason why I didn't have to worry about Wonder Taping it. But basically now I'm going to take my pin out and I'm going to stick this under here, and I'm going to stitch this in 2 places just to really secure it. So the first stitching is going to be, I'm going to move my needle over here, right near the edge of the twill tape. Okay, now the one thing is we don't need to get super close to the teeth, but I do want to sew it twice. So I'm going to sew it near the edge. And you'll really be able to see my stitching because I'm using that light stitching on black, so you'll really be able to see. All right, so I sewed that one, right? Now I'm going to go in again and I'm just going to sew down the middle. Again, I'm not worrying about it being super close to the teeth because it's in the right spot. Now my pull is definitely going to get in the way here, so let me see if I can reach in there and pull it down. I don't know if I can. Let's see. If it doesn't, I can just be a little crooked at the top, but I think I can. I think I can get it. Hold on one second. Let me lift the needle up a little bit. I think I can get it to unzip. Oh, that's probably even far enough. All right. See, it did make a little jog, but again, this stitching, you can see, here's the finished, right? That stitching I did to hold the zipper on is never going to show. Whoops, let me make it a little brighter so you can see. So that's how it looks from the right side. And then you can see, if I look on this side, you can see the stitching. And actually you can see the little jog it made when I went around the pool. But again, no one's ever going to see that little jog except for us. Because once I sew my pants together, that will be completely hidden. So you don't have to worry about sewing straight when you sew the left side of the zipper to the left fly piece. All right, so let's lay this back down again here. And look at what we have. All right, so now we've got our zipper sewn in. We've got a nice, zipper here, and I'm just going to unzip it to show you that it does unzip nicely. There's my fly shield, right? It's all nice and neat. So the next step is we want to put it back together like this, and I want to sew the rest of my crotch together. Jason's telling me I need to fix my Discord. It isn't working. All right, well, I will get on that as soon as I'm done doing this. Oh, my Discord link isn't working. Oh, All right, if you guys want to join my Discord, just hold on. I will fix my Discord link because it's not working. But I do want to say I'm having a lot of fun in there already. So if you've joined Discord already, thank you so much. And if not, right after this is over, I will fix the link. And then Judy says, I love that you made this seem so easy. Judy, guess what? It is easy. Like, just do it step by step. Don't think of a zipper as a whole process. Think about all the little separate steps and how easy they are to go together, because this is not hard. And now you have a video that you can go back to and stitch along with it as well. All right, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put just a couple pins here. I don't even really need to. I'm just going to put one pin. Okay, and here's what we want to do. If you look at this really carefully, because we understitched, let me get in really close so you can see. Because we understitched, there are 2 rows of stitching. Oops, sorry, my camera's shaking. Hold on. Okay, so see how this one closer to the edge of the fabric, that is my understitching. The one that's farther away is my seam, but I don't have to guess because see how I just kept stitching along when I sewed the left fly on. So now all I need to do, and I'm going to use this side of my presser foot this time, I mean my zipper foot, is I'm going to line up my zipper foot so that the needle is right at the base of my stitching, like this. And now all I have to do is just follow along and stitch just outside the stitching I did to sew the fly on. It gives me a good guide. Make sure these are matching. Okay. All right, so now you can see I finished stitching the crotch. Let's open it up and see how it looks. Oh, look what I did. I caught something I shouldn't have caught. So that's a boo-boo. Just gonna snip this right here. Not gonna snip it with that. Hold on one second. Let me get my seam ripper. Oh, I really caught it. Good. Look what I did. All right, so this is an exercise in make sure you're not stitching through something that will that you're not supposed to stitch through, because look what happened. I actually stitched all of that, so I have to go back and fix that now. Well, that was special. All right, let me go back and fix that. So how did that happen? When I was sewing, it was all bunched up under here. So you want to make sure when you sew that everything is nice and smooth on this side as well. Let's try that one more time here. So I'm going to get this back into position. I only have to stitch to here. It's not a big deal, really, but that just brings the point home. You want to make sure all your layers are nice and nice. So again, I'm going to put the needle down so it's right on the stitching or right below the stitching. And then I'm going to just stitch this again. Sorry about that. So see, mistakes happen, but again, very easy to fix. I'm just going to overlap my other stitching here and just back tack a little bit to secure it. All right, so now, ta-da, we're good now. So let's open this up. Hey, Mary T, you just found me? Well, welcome to my channel. All right, here's what I want to show you guys. What you should be seeing now, and I'm going to show you from this angle, is you shouldn't see, like if this were pressed like ultra flat, you shouldn't see where the seam starts and where the zipper opening starts. So see how it should be a nice streamlined look here. So that would be, the zipper is completely installed. The next step is we're going to sew top stitching detail. And that's not going to be a super bold feature in these pants. I'm just going to use the thread I'm using now to just create that. You know what, maybe what I'll do is, if you wanted to use top stitching thread, but you don't have anything close, if you use 2 strands of regular all-purpose thread, it will give you a little bit bolder look. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself another like tan color. So I'm going to add this color to the one that I already have going on. And I'm just going to thread it as if I was threading it for the first time here. Oops. All right, hold on. I just got to get the thread through the little guide here. All right, and then I'm just going to bring it down, and I'm literally going to thread it the same path as my other. So if you want to see what I'm doing here, I mean, I'm literally just rethreading it exactly the same. So it's going to go up and around and in, and then I'm going to thread it into the needle, the same needle. And what that's going to do is that's going to give me a slightly bolder look without having to go to a top stitching thread. I don't know if I have a handy top stitching thread that would go with this color. Hey Barbara, welcome. So I just want you guys to know, if I wasn't talking this through with you, I'd be done by now. I can sew this fly in like 10 minutes when I'm just tootling along by myself, but I want to take time and point out everything I can to make it easier for you to, you know, do it. All right, let's see if I can see the eye to actually get that in there. All right. So I'm just going to add the second thread. And to get the first thread out of the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that up like this. So I'm lifting it, I'm taking the first thread and I'm just picking it up so that the bottom part of the hole is free for me to thread the second thread. All right, now I've got both threads in there, and that's just going to give me a little bit of a bolder look. Make sure you're not nothing's looped around the needle though. I'm creating a mess here. Hold on. How did I do that? Wow. That really, let me see if I can fix it without unthreading. Uh-oh. I'm making a mess. All right, I guess I have to rethread both. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can thread them at the same time. Just get these out. All right, that was a hot mess. I'm going to see if I can shoot them through at the same time. Let's try that. All right, let's see if I can. Oh, I probably won't be able to. All right, so I'm going to all right, this is what I'm going to do. I don't want this to seem like a hard process because I do this all the time. So I'm going to take one thread and I'm going to stick it through the needle like this. In case anyone's wondering, I did traumatize my needle threader. This machine has a very nice needle threader, but I broke it. And until I have time to take it in for service, I have a needle threader that does not work, so I'm sorry. All right, let me just get that in there. I mean, I want to show you this is really doable. All right, so I've got one thread in, and what I'm going to do with this thread is I'm going to pull it up like this. So I'm literally going to pull it up out of the way so it's up here, right? Then I'm going to thread the second thread. And we're going to go front to back. Like this. So I'm holding the first thread taut And then I've got the second thread, and as I pull it, I want to make sure that it's not twisting around the needle. All right, so now they're in there nicely and they're not twisted around the needle. So that's got my top stitching all set. Now to design my, I want to design my actual top stitching. And for that, I need a piece of chalk. So I'm going to use my little Chalk-O-Liner, and I'm going to use my clear grid ruler. And here are the important things when you design a crotch. A top stitching. You want to make sure you're catching this fly piece, right? That's why I made it really wide. See how far away that is? Oh, not that one. I'm sorry. You want to make sure you catch the left fly piece. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to get this into position like this. And just to keep it from sliding around, I'm going to put one pin right here just to keep it closed for right now. Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to measure 1.25 inches away. And let me do it like this. So here's my 1.25 inches. Okay, and I'm gonna, maybe I'll do 1 3/8 inches. 1 3/8 inches from the fold. I'm going to go ahead and draw a chalk line there. Then I'm going to do 1 3/8 inches right here. So see what I'm doing is I'm drawing a line, and I'm going to do one more down here, 1 3/8 inches, like this. Okay, so I've got my vertical line for my fly, and if you want to fill it in, you know, you could fill it in so it's a continuous line like this. All right, so there's my straight part of my fly. The next thing you want to feel for is, where is that stop? The stop is right here. I do not want to get that stop in my stitching, right? So let me just show you. Okay, so the stop is right here, but I do want to catch the bottom of this. So I don't want to hit the stop, but I do want to catch the bottom. So that means I am going to stitch for this pair. It changes every time depending on what I'm doing, but I'm going to feel for the very bottom of my fly piece. And I think just to show you guys, I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to poke a pin straight up through it so you can see. So see where this pin is right below the stop. Oh, Barbara says she doesn't like her needle threader because it's a wire loop and it's difficult, so you mostly do it by eye. They are a little bit delicate. So I'm going to go ahead and draw myself where I'm going to stitch right here, even with that pin. Like that. And then I'm going to make a gentle curve. You know, and if you have a curved ruler, if you have a curved ruler, you can use that. So I'll use my this little ruler. I featured this ruler on Cool Tools 2 weeks ago because it actually has seam allowances printed on it, and you can use it to add seam allowances. So basically, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to create a little bit of a curve right here. Okay, so see, I'm doing a curve. Oh, maybe I don't want it that curvy. Wait. All right, we want to make a nice shape here, so let me just... All right, and then I'm going to get rid of that pin now because it's messing up my thing. All right, so that's where I'm going to stitch here. And then here, 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 here. And I'm going to go straight up. Now remember I said that we wanted to not sew the bottom part of that right fly piece. So see what's happening inside here is I can fold this up out of the way. I'm also going to fold it over here because I just want to sew through the left fly piece. I don't want to catch the right fly piece at all. So I'm literally going to take a pin and keep this pinned out of the way over here. So this is safely out of the way now. All right. So then the other thing I'm going to do is I want to make sure that my left fly piece stays put. So I'm going to put a few pins in my left fly like this, just to make sure nothing slides around. And so I've pinned the fly piece or the zipper to the leg. Now I'm going to stitch this. I'm going to make my stitch length like 3.5, so it's a little bit longer than my constructing length. And I'm going to start at the bottom. The reason why I'm starting at the bottom is because I don't want to, well, if you start at the top, what can happen is you can push the fabric against the center front seam and create a little bit of a bubble here. So see, we're going to stitch away from the center front seam so it's nice and smooth. If you come down like this, right, you might push the fabric there and you get a bubble, especially if you're working with stretch fabric. This fabric is not stretchy, but I want to be safe, so I'm going to start right here. And again, I'm going to put my stitch length at 3.5, so it's in the middle. And I'm just going to start stitching. So we're going to start stitching here. I'm going to back tack a couple stitches so it secures. Then I'm just going to stitch, stitch, stitch. And I'm going to hand walk it just to make sure I don't hit anything at there. And then notice the minute I know I'm away from the fly, I'm just going to start turning. And notice every stitch I take, I'm pivoting slightly until I get to my straightaway. Okay, and if you're not sure what's happening, you can lift your presser foot, let the fabric relax, put it down, you know, and I'm overshooting my straightaway just a little bit, I think, but that's okay. So now I'm just going to go straight up, and I can remove these pins now as I come to them. I'm about 1/16 of an inch away from my straightaway, but that'll be okay. All right, so let's look at our fly. All right, so see, I'm just gonna rub the chalk off as best I can here. But I like this shape. All right, so notice I have a very nice detail. Now, if you have, just like Ross and Friends, pivot, pivot, pivot. That is so funny. All right, so if you have a fly shape that you like, you can make an oak tag version, put it on your pants, and trace it off. This is the one I use for my trousers. It's a little bit narrower. You'll notice if I line this up, you can see my top stitching extends past it, but you could make multiples of these. So instead of measuring and using the ruler like I did, you can just trace a template. So that's another idea that you can, another thing you can do. Let's look at the inside now. All right, so see, this worked out perfect. See how at the bottom of the zipper, I sewed across the zipper. That's going to secure all of that. And then when I put down my right fly, you can see it's going to, the right fly is going to hide everything. Now, if you feel like this is too long, or if yours is sticking out, now that it's sewn on, you can trim this a little bit. So it's, you know, really going to be the right length. Of course, mine didn't stick out, but now it's, you know, oops, let me just pull this, trim this right here, boop. All right, so you can see that's how it's going to look on the right side. Look what a nice clean finish that is. So there's 2 more steps, and actually I'm going to keep this folded up for a second. I don't have to move it over, I just want to fold it up because I want to just top stitch my front crotch. Okay, and to do my front crotch, I'm literally going to just I'm not going to do any fancy or 2 rows of top stitching on the crotch here. I just want to secure it. And actually, I think for this one, I would rather have my zipper foot on. So let me just put this back on. I'm going to move my needle over here. Can I move my needle? Oh, why do I have my twin needle? Oh. Okay. All right, I'm going to move my needle over. And I'm going to simply use the edge of the zipper foot as a guide to stitch about a 1/16 of an inch away, like this. So I'm stitching through both seam allowances and the leg. And again, I'm at 3.5 for a stitch length. Oops. Well, if my fabric started to go, I would be. I don't know why that's getting stuck. Let me just start that back again. Okay, so again, all I'm going to do is stitch up here, and when I get to the actual base of my fly, I'm just going to stop. This is a very simple top stitching. So when I get there, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to back tack a couple stitches. We're going to call it a day. And then you can see we have this very nice top stitching right here, see? And then the last step, there's only one more step here, and then we're done. And then I'm going to call it for today. I'm going to put this back down. We want to keep this from flopping around, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reach over to my, you can see the little corner of my left fly piece. I'm literally just going to stitch kitty corner to catch it. And you're going to see this stitching. So I just like to do, oops, wait a minute. You can't see what I'm doing. There we go. I'm just going to stitch kitty corner like this. And again, I'm just going to back tack there, catch the corner, and go straight down to the bottom like this. And then you can see what we have is a finished fly. See? So I just made this little one stitch right there. Can you see it? And now this won't flop open. And from the right side, you can see I have this very nice zipper. Ta-da! So there you are. So that's how I do my jean zippers or pant zippers with separate fly pieces. Let me switch over to here now. All right, so I'm just going to lift this up. We don't need that in my face. Okay, so apparently I have to fix the link for my Discord. If anybody is interested in joining my Discord, it's going to be in addition to everything I'm doing. Some people were worried that I wasn't going to be on YouTube anymore. The cool thing about Discord is if I upload a video or even schedule it, it'll show up on the YouTube tab in my Discord. And then if I post something, you can see it immediately. I've been having a lot of trouble with Facebook and Instagram where people email me and say, you know, you post things, but I don't see them for 3 days. So this is just going to be an easier way for you to keep up with me. I hope you want to give it a shot. It is a little techie looking. It isn't pretty. It's just a message board really, but it's organized. So I have special places where you can ask for pants help. You can ask for shirt help. You can post pictures of your finished projects. It's going to be really, really fun. So, oh, Deutschland agrees that it's wonderful. My zipper. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Bettina. Judy, thank you, thank you. Patty, thank you. Oh, Sylvia, thank you. So This is easy. It is easy. Just take it step by step. I think sometimes people get caught up in the process when they think of the process from start to finish all at one time. So if you can just say, all right, I'm sewing a straight line. I'm sewing a straight line to sew the zipper onto the right leg. Straight line. Everyone can sew a straight line. Then you're going to put the fly piece on. Again, it's a straight line. So think about each step as just one simple step. And then by the time you do all the simple steps, it's finished. So I will be posting pictures of these pants when they're finished. Thank you so much for joining me. I will have Fit Tip Tuesday. I will have Cool Tools. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week, I will be teaching in person pants fitting. If anyone wants to join me, there are still a few spaces left. I have 8 people signed up, but there is room for a couple more if anyone wants to join me. It's going to be a 3-day adventure in pants fitting, and we're going to take our time, and we are going to really learn how to fit pants in this class. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you. No Fab Fit Friday next week because I'll be teaching pants fitting. So I'm sorry about that, but I will be back the week after with the tour of my finished clean studio. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you very, very soon. All right. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tana. Thank you, D. Hammer. Thank you. All right. I'm signing off. Bye-bye.